Okay, I think I finally got the correct parts this time. I know that push-in one has a 90 on it, but that's all that was offered between both stores from what I could find. Or, well, actually I didn't do the searching for the parts really at O'Reilly's. I just did the searching at Duralast. The customer says they couldn't find anything at O'Reilly's either. Yeah, I know this has a 90, but it is the same connector as this connector. So, and I already plugged it in there. So I know it fits. We just gotta hope that it seals, right? So let's get it in there. All right, just like before with the wrong sensor, it's gonna be a swap as quick as possible. One hand from behind here, pulling it out. The other hand ready to swap in the new one. Come on, get in there. Nope, my finger's stuck. Oh, that's sealing up way nicer. You gotta kind of wiggle it in there. Yeah, that O-ring's a lot tighter. Put the clip in. We've got to point the connector straight up and down, so that's all good. You rascal, you have it. It's in. Now we'll plug it in and all right, now for the other one, we're gonna need this and that heat shield, and that's gonna go right there. Okay, we'll give that a cinch down, and then we'll plug this guy in and see if we still got codes. All right, let's see if we still have the temperature on there, temperature warning, without hooking everything up yet. Oh, okay, gotta have foot on the, I don't want it to start. I don't want it to start. There we go. Engine coolant over temp. C manual. Hood. Engine coolant over temp still. So that didn't solve a thing. Then we've got this loose hose here. It's not plugged into anything. It could be. Doesn't look like it ever was. That could be a vent tube for a transmission. Can't really tell where it goes to. Alright, so this next part should be easy. Everything just slides in or clips in. Alright, got the heat shielding back on that plug, of course, don't forget that. It's going to go there. Okay, with big giant holes in the back. There we go. Goodness. Grab the pliers, throw these bolts in. Get these tightened down before you tighten the hose clamps. Uno, dos, there it goes, and trace. And for this trace, you gotta stick the red wings back in. There we go. Okay. This guy back onto that guy. And then we tighten these guys up, and then we'll start it up just to make sure it doesn't need to run to clear that code, or run to realize that it's not over temp anymore. Of course, we'll plug that back in. Clamp in the back. Okay, now let's start it up. As you can hear by the fans kicking on, and it still thinks it's immediately hot. Now that hose isn't sucking in anything, so I think that's just a vent tube. Okay, so here's something interesting. I just thought to clear it, maybe it'll take care of it, and sure enough it has. So the one code I was getting, the 1299, was saying permanent, right? So that's the first time I've seen a code say permanent. I've seen them say active and pending. I've never seen permanent. So I think it was not going to fix itself until you cleared the code, no matter what kind of work you've done. And it's been staying at 208, fans kick on at 210, and it brings it right back down to 208. This is supposed to have a 190 thermostat, so I don't, and the coolant shouldn't be more than a couple years old, because they just had this whole cylinder head replaced by the dealership. So I kind of want to assume that they would throw a new coolant and new thermostat in there, because that's what dealerships do, and then charge you for it later. So here's what I think happened. That temperature sensor in the cylinder head there was a little wiggly, and it must have thrown it into protection mode. I have read some other blogs about, guys just been dealing with this for years. They clear it and you're good for a while. Could be air pocket, could be old coolant, could be all kinds of things. I don't know what temperature makes that active protection mode kick on, but Seems to be doing all right now. Let me know what you guys think, because this is the end of the video. So peace. Doing some things today. Got a couple cars here. This is an 02, I think. Cadillac something or other with the North Star V8. When you got to replace the thermostat because it starts to overheat, but the radiator and the hose stay ice cold. So logic says let's start there. Over here we got a 2020 2.0 EcoBoost, and we were in cylinder head overprotection mode, code 1299, which is a sensor back here right underneath this intake. It's got like a big aluminum heat shielding over it. So, and it was a little broken, so we replaced it. I replaced this one as well, just for good measure. Cleared the codes. Now we're up and running. Just need to get some better coolant up in here so the fans aren't doing all the work at 210 degrees. Now, when it comes to this motor, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking, and boy, is it a mess. Like, that is that coolant, or is that just like that aluminum corrosion that happens sometimes? But I know what you're thinking. It's got a blown head or two. And, you know, you might not be wrong. You might not be wrong. But we do know the radiator's cold and water's now flowing past the thermostat. So, brand new car, or, you know, we just picked it up. So we're trying to just work through it. If it ends up costing too much money, we'll get rid of it again. So it's actually super simple. You just loosen these two clamps and that thing goes whoosh, and you lift it up out of the way. And you come over and you undo these three fasteners, like 1, 2, 3, and the lid comes off like that, and then the computer just slides right out, and you lay the computer in the harness back just like you did that, and then the bottom half just sits on these pegs here, here, and there, and you can just wiggle them out. They don't require any tools. And then that whole box comes out, and then you can easily get to these two 10 mil bolts right here. Here's what the old one looks like. We replaced it because we believe it's stuck. Let's put some torch to it. Feel it creaking. There it goes. It was stuck. It popped. Yeah, there was a big pop, and then it finally starts to open. Cool. I think that fixed it. Well, it's back because it's still overheating. Yeah, I know. None of you are surprised. So we're going to do a little sniff test here. See if we've got some exhaust coming in the coolant. All right, so first things first, we'll just let this warm up and see if that blue changes to like a yellowy green at all. Well, I barely had time to wash my hands. Like, they're still wet. And I come out here and this thing's, look, it's doing that all on its own. I didn't even touch the bulb yet to squeeze any air through, and it's already green. I say it's blown. I hate to be the guys he just bought the car from. No, I don't mean to make fun of it. You know, that's heartbreaking. That hurts the soul and the wallet, right? You get told it's just been sitting, thermostat's stuck, you know, it's covered in weeds. You believe it. You want to trust a guy. Okay, let's do it. No, can't trust anybody these days, can you? It's terrible. It's terrible. Anyway, follow me on Gibson Garage Speed Shop, YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.